Johnson leads off. The pitch is upstairs, and we are underway. Time of first pitch, 4:02 p.m. Second one's also upstairs, a little outside.
Yeah, Josh Johnson, previously mentioned, he leads the team in average, 346 on the year, 9 home runs, 46 RBIs. Last year, he started all 55 games for the Golden Flashes, led the team with 22 steals as well. So if he gets on the base paths, he is a threat.
Absolutely. He's hit good for 20 doubles for the year, which is tied for most on the team. Swung on and missed. Really hoping to get that one out there. Brings us to a full count, 3-2.
And this will be a good test for Sachem Ramos, you know, getting some relatively low intensity innings under his belt.
As Sachem Ramos completes the strikeout of Josh Johnson with a 90-mile-an-hour swing and a miss.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the Wolverines defense. You got Kim starting in left, we mentioned. Garcia, who previously filled in for Kim when Kim went down with the injury, still staying in the starting lineup in center. Hrustich in right. Caruso, Dernetti, Timbrook, Longo, the infield. Ramos and Lightkeep getting the start behind the plate in place of Will Rogers, the usual catcher.
And that first pitch to Tim Orr is flied out to center. AJ Garcia making that play. Nice and easy 2 outs for the Wolverines to start off the game.
Yeah, good start for Ramos. It should be a confidence boost for the freshman in his 12th game. This is his 3rd start of the year.
Ramos's longest game so far has been just over 3 innings this year. So he's been pretty efficient. Only 8 pitches so far in the first.
And now Tim Orr, the other offensive leader for the Golden Flashes.
That one's outside.
The top 3 of this Golden Flashes order, extremely good extra base hitters, all with at least 17 homers plus doubles, all with 9 home runs. So very balanced offense in this top 3. As we'll see Kyle Jackson next.
The 2-2 swung on and fouled into the left field, out of play.
Sorry, this is Kyle Jackson, pardon me.
Yes, Kyle Jackson, 271 average, 166 at-bats, 45 hits. Fouled up out of play again. Out into the parking lot over by Yost Ice Arena.
Yeah, beautiful day here in Ann Arbor. Wind blowing strongly in from center right now, so we'll see if that plays into the advantage of the respective pitchers.
That one's seen as just a little outside, so that brings us to another full count. 3-2, 2 outs. The pitch is swung on and popped up to second base. And shortstop Kyle Dernetti does away with it for a 1-2-3 inning for the Wolverines.
And this is his 17th appearance, his 3rd start as well.
First pitch to Garcia. It's fouled off into the Yost parking lot once again, bouncing off the building.
Yeah, the last start for Roebuck was in this previous series against Bowling Green. It was the game that they lost. He went 2 1/3, gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run.
That one's drilled out to center field. An easy fly ball, though, for Josh Johnson. 2 pitches, 1 out. We'll take a look. Pretty routine fly ball. Not bad. Stays in the sun. As this day goes on, the shadows will begin to play a factor.
Yeah, and we mentioned that wind coming straight in from center field. Not sure if that ball had a chance to get over the fence, but you know, definitely got knocked down by the wind, made an easier play for the center fielder Johnson.
Here's Jonathan Kim back in the lineup. As you can see, hitting .306 with 3 homers and 10 ribbies so far this year. We were told he's still limited in some regards, but he is expected to play the full game, as this one's grounded to short. Throw to first in time, beating out the speedy Kim. Pretty quick inning for Benny Roebuck.
Yeah, and again, it was that broken hand injury, required surgery for Jonathan Kim. So, you know, the outfielder, if he gets the ball in play, should still be able to use his legs, which are one of his strengths, and almost beat that one out, which appeared to be a routine ground ball.
Stephen Hrustich fouls that off to right. Hrustich had a great weekend this past weekend against Long Beach State. He hit .625 with a 1 slugging percentage. Good for 5 RBIs on 5 hits. And he scored 5 runs.
Yeah, Hrustich leading the team with 10 home runs this year. As you see there, got his average up to 300. So has been a crucial addition to this lineup for Coach Tracy Smith this year. Transfer from Northwestern. See, he drills this one.
Out to center field once again. This one gets into the shadows, but still, easy catch for Long Beach. 1-2-3 inning, 7 pitches, no runs, no hits. We'll be back at the top of the second. You can see this nice and easy routine fly ball for Josh Johnson, backing up a little bit, then making the catch. We'll be back with Kent State back up at the top of the second right here on Big Ten Plus.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
That one's inside. Yeah, the Wolverines really looking for as long as they can get out of Ramos. Keeps their bullpen fresh for their upcoming series against Michigan State and East Lansing this weekend. Runners lead off. That one's in there for a strike. Dom Keebler, the right fielder, .230 average. 40 games he has played in, 26 ribbies and 5 homers. That one is grounded to first. The easy play ends the inning for Ramos. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We'll be right back for the bottom of the second here on Big Ten Plus. Colin Priest steps up to the plate for the Wolverines. The freshman DH hitting .264 on the season.
Yeah, Priest's been a good addition to the starting lineup. Hasn't gotten all the starts.
This one drilled back to the pitcher. Quick throw to first. Pretty easy out. Again, only 9 pitches for Roebuck right now. You can see this one drilled right at Roebuck's foot.
Yeah, unlucky there from Priest. That looked like it had enough muster to get through the infield and into center field for a single.
Just got a little bit on the top of it. Didn't get enough lift on that ball. 4 outs on 9 pitches for Benny Roebuck. Here's Joe Longo, who swings through the first pitch. The junior playing first base today.
Longo, someone that is a pretty streaky player. You know, we talked with Josh Fegley earlier.
This one's hit through the gap in center, and for an easy base hit. Fielded, Longo gets on base for the first Wolverine hit of the game.
Yeah, Josh Fegley, as I was saying, you know, he talked about Longo and how he's been, you know, raking this recently, you know, coming off a good series against Long Beach State. And just seeing consistent appearances in the starting lineup, just how that's going to help him get going as the season keeps progressing.
Longo leads off first with Cole Caruso, the third baseman, up at the plate. First pitch was outside. Here's the 1-0 as Longo goes, and ball's in play. No play. Excuse me, there's a play at first. Runner advances to second.
Yeah, that ball looks like it took a kind of weird hop off the mound. Slowed it up a little bit, and a good jump from Longo at first made the double play not viable for Kent State.
Yeah, shortstop Kyle Jackson for the Golden Flashes unable to turn that. Fielding the ball just past second base.
And here is the aforementioned Mac Timbrook, one of the hottest players in this Wolverine lineup.
Timbrook been slashing 531, 589, and 694 in this past month with 8 doubles, as Theo mentioned earlier.
Yeah, had 2 doubles in this past series against Long Beach State. Went 2 for 4 on Friday, 1 for 3 on Saturday, and 3 for 4 on Sunday.
Good. That ball's outside. As you see, Timbrook with 345. Only 2 homers, so not a big advocate of the long ball, and then 21 ribbies. We'll see how he does with a runner in scoring position, the first of the game for the Wolverines. The 2-0 is popped up. Pretty easy, but dropped. Luckily for Kent State, that ball was foul, so runners retreat. But a missed play for the Golden Flashes defense.
Yeah, that was Michael McNamara eventually coming in from third base. You know, those plays where the ball pops straight up essentially are not easy.
And this day, as we mentioned, it is completely sunny. So that sun's certainly playing a factor in that pop-up. That's a strike. Bottom of the second, 2-2, 2 outs, runner on second. The pitch is swung on and drilled to left. Retreating is Tim Orr, and that will end the inning. 1 run. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for Kent State. Easy fly ball to end the inning. We'll be back for the top of the third. Kent State coming to bat right here on Big Ten Plus.
Sladen coming off of a kind of rough game against Ohio State, so hasn't pitched in 10 days. He gave up 3 runs in just 2/3 of an inning. But before that, he had a stretch of 3 great games, inning and a third against Western Michigan, 2 innings against Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and an inning against Minnesota, all without giving up a run. So has been on the right track as of late, just that rough game against Ohio State.
Ripken Reese checked his first swing, so it's 1-0. That one a little low as well, so 2 balls, no strikes. On the second baseman, the freshman, as you saw earlier, 2.24 ERA, 3 homers and 19 ribbies. The 2-0 swung on to right, and that one will drift foul. Longest outing for Sladen so far has been 2 innings this season. So we'll see how long he can go for the Wolverines today. The 2-1 hit to left and just foul that left field wall. Jonathan Kim went out to go get it, but quickly retreated when he saw that one was not going to stay in play. So we're at 2-2 here in the top of the third.
Yeah, balls down that left field line are going to have a tough time staying fair, as the wind is generally blowing right to left as well as in.
That one well outside. Load in the count. So we're at 3-2. Sladen has walked 10 batters so far this season. That one is inside, and that makes it the 11th walk. So Ripken Reese gets awarded first base, which for him is his 18th walk of the season. You can see this pitch slow down well inside. Had to hop back to avoid it. Avoid getting hit. But runner on first. No outs here in the top of the third. First ball's in the dirt. Runner goes. And in time. Throws a little off from Kaksher.
Yeah, good jump here from Ripken. Reese saw that ball in the dirt and instantly took off. And although the throw from Lightgib was a little slow and late, I didn't think that he really had a chance at getting Ripken Reese, as looks like we have another pitching change here. Just after facing two batters, we'll see a new Wolverine arm.
Has pitched in 30.1 innings so far for the Wolverines this season. Good for a 6.53 ERA.
Yeah, Ricky Kidd from Trenton. Trenton, one of 4 state capitals that has 2 T's in its name. But Ricky Kidd spent 2 years at Henry Ford Community College before attending Michigan. And now in his 3rd season with the Wolverines. It's been pretty solid. 2.98 ERA in his freshman year and a 3.19 ERA in his sophomore season.
That one is swung on and missed, making it 1-2. As Josh Johnson struck out in the first. Comes back up to bat. Runner leads off second. The 1-2. Outside. Lightgib misses a little bit, but recovers, so runner stays put.
Yeah, it's hard to overstate how good Josh Johnson has been over the last 3 seasons. His sophomore season in 2022 had a team best 371 average after barely getting any playing time, just went 1 for 12 his freshman year, so really a breakout season. He was also tied for the team lead with 14 steals, and he followed that up with a 313 and a team-leading 22 steals in last year with 17 multi-hit games, and this year just continuing on his tirade in the MAC.
That one's in the dirt. Runner advances. No throw from Lightgib. So runners on first and third for Ricky Kidd, no outs. You can see him leading off a little bit there. Pretty quickly runs over.
Yeah, another good jump from Ripken Reese. That's twice he's advanced on a wild pitch. So we'll see if Coach Duncan puts the speedy Johnson in motion here in this advantageous runners on the corners position.
That one's dribbled to short. Easy throw to first. Not in time, though. With Tim Orr being it out, letting the runner score. So it's still no outs, but 1-0 for Kent State with runners on first and second on that grounder to short.
Yeah, it was a tough play for Dernetti. Kind of squibbled softly. He had to come charging in on it and really didn't have time to set his feet or take a couple steps and didn't get the runner. So Kent State jumps on the board first.
Here's a bunt looking to advance the runner. And that one gets away from Joe Longo, letting another run score for Kent State. A bit of a sloppy defensive game for Michigan so far.
Yeah, sloppy defensive play, but a great bunt here.
Absolutely.
From Jackson. Forced Ricky Kidd to charge in on it, and that's a very tough play as a pitcher, having your momentum go one way and then having to make the throw the other way. And so some small ball from Kent State working for the Golden Flashes.
So again, runners on first and second, no outs, only this time. Another run in for Kent State. Show bunt again. That one's in for a strike. Here's Brody Williams up again, who lined out in the second.
Home plate umpire Jake Botek, just making sure that everything's squared away.
Check swing, but in there for a strike. Makes the count 0-2.
So 18th appearance for Ricky Kidd, has struggled at times this year, that 6.53 ERA after those 2 great years at Henry Ford Community College. But first season with the Wolverines.
That one was outside. So the count moves to 1-2. Still no outs for the Golden Flashes. That one is hit to right, with Stephen Hrustich retreating and getting it. Runners tag up. Runner advances to third. So runners on the corners now for Kent State with 1 out. And Hunter Klotz coming up to bat.
Yeah, tough play for Hrustich on this windy day, but reads that well and gets it in quick to not allow any funny business. Those other 3 state capitals that have 2 T's in it, Brandon, by the way, just so that the viewers aren't wondering, Atlanta, Little Rock, and Salt Lake City to go along with Trenton.
That's good to know. Appreciate the information.
Of course. Learned that at trivia last night.
There you go. Nice way to spend a Monday night. Here's Hunter Klotz, who doubled in the second. Only 9 RBIs on the season, so we'll see if he can add to that right now with runners on the corners and only 1 out.
And again, I'm curious. We haven't seen Coach Duncan for the Golden Flashes put any of these runners in motion for a steal, as we have the backup catcher for the Wolverines, Brock Lightgeb, and Kent State is a great stolen base team, having the first and third in the conference stealing leaders in Josh Johnson and Kyle Jackson.
3-0 misses as well for a 4-pitch walk. To Klotz to load the bases for Michael McNamara. McNamara's hit 8 home runs on the season with 29 RBIs, good for 489 slugging percentage.
And speaking of catchers, as we see, looks like another pitching change here. We will see the usual starting catcher for Michigan, Will Rogers. He will come in to pitch as we see Ricky Kidd struggling to get an out.
Rogers giving up 19 earned runs on the season. Let's see if he can keep this limited. 3 inherited runners. First pitch is in there for a strike to McNamara.
And McNamara walked over in that second inning.
29 RBIs on the season. All runners lead, but that one's a little inside for ball 1. Will Rogers can normally give the Wolverines a little bit of distance, having gone at least an inning in every outing this season so far. His shortest, 1.0 innings on March 6th against Oakland. That one swung on and missed.
And looks like the home plate umpire, Jake Botek, giving McNamara the foul tip on that, so won't be a strikeout as we take a look here. Yeah, it looks like the ball probably changed directions there, and you can see McNamara instantly pointing down to the bat to make sure that he's still alive. But yeah, Rogers pitched in the Saturday win against Long Beach State. Went 2 1/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned though. Struck out 2 and did not walk any.
Here's the 1-2 to McNamara. That one is fouled off to left field. Well hit, but just a little foul, and the wind is blowing decently strong out to left field. That may have played a factor in that one.
Yeah, easy power there from McNamara. Turned on that one and never really had a chance at staying fair, but 8 home runs on the year. That's 4th on the team after the trio of players with 9 at the top of the order. In Johnson, Orr, and Jackson.
That one from Rogers just a little outside, so the count moves to 2-2. Wolverines certainly hoping for a double play here. They lead the nation in turning double plays.
Yeah, and on the other side, it's Kent State that hits into the fewest double plays in the conference. They've only hit into 6 double plays this entire season.
So if we get a double play here, folks, that might that'll be a rarity for these two teams. That one's inside to load the count. Full count and full bases.
Yeah, you're seeing the plate discipline from the Kent State Flashes. They're 2nd in the MAC in walks.
That one fouled back over our heads. McNamara, 23 walks. Good for a 380, excuse me, on base percentage this season.
Let's go, dude.
Nowhere to put him. Let's see the 3-2. That one also fouled back. A little to the right of us, but back into the parking lot behind Ray Fisher here.
Yeah, the longer this at-bat goes, the more important it gets for both these teams. You know, if Rogers can set down McNamara here, it would be a big momentum swing for the Wolverines.
We'll redo the 3-2. That one fouled off into the Michigan bullpen in left field. Moving Rogers up to 11 pitches for this this outing for him.
Yeah, and all in this at-bat here. There's another foul from McNamara.
Let's go, Mike.
He appears to be seeing Rogers fairly well as he's made solid contact a couple of times. That one just a little bit foul. And probably would have plated 2, maybe 3 with how far off the line Jonathan Kim is playing in left.
That one grounded to short. First and second for a double play for the nation leading Wolverines in turning double plays. They turn another one. Will Rogers gets out of the jam with no runs on him, but Kent State advances to 2 runs.
Give the Wolverines a good chance at driving them home from the top of the order.
Sternetti's the only player on the Wolverines squad to start every game this season, which leaves him with a .259 batting average, only 1 homer in those 44 games, but 19 RBIs. That one is hit to left. Fouled off. High pop.
Yeah, that stayed in the air for a long time. I lost track of where it was, but
as did I.
Was watching Tim Orr in left field running over to that.
Come on, Darren. Get us going, Darren.
As it looks like all of the clouds have cleared the sky, essentially.
And that one hits Sternetti. He leads the team in hit by pitches.
Yep.
So that keeps his lead.
Yeah, 13th time being hit by a pitch this year. And, you know, if you get on base, you get on base.
Absolutely. That one hit him in the back, but, you know, it awards him a free trip to first base.
Yeah, and honestly, probably one of the better places to get hit by a pitch.
Absolutely.
As he shook that one off pretty easily.
First pitch to catcher Lightgeeb goes outside. 152 average with 7 RBIs. The backup catcher, only playing in 25 games this season and starting 18. Throw to first to keep Dernetti at bay. Retreat in time.
Yeah, Lightgeeb, just a freshman, coming over from Portland, Oregon. I don't see many people making the journey this far east.
That one's grounded to third. Over to second and on to first. They get both. Nice double play for Kent State. Keeps Roebuck's pitch count low. We'll see this play again.
Yeah, anything you can do, I can do better. The Golden Flashes turn this double play. Pretty routine. Both players out by a step, and that clears the bases.
So the Michigan order turns over with AJ Garcia up to bat once again.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, AJ Garcia originally jumped into the starting lineup when Jonathan Kim went down with his injury, taking over that center field position on a day-to-day basis, but has really performed well. You know, still with the 259 average. And so we'll see if he continues to be in the starting lineup with Jonathan Kim working his way back, as well as when Mitch Voit comes back from his, needed rest.
Absolutely. Mitch Voit, when he's not pitching, you can find him all over the field, but that might bump out Garcia. That one goes outside, so 3-1 is the count now. That one's in there to load the count. So 3-2, 2 outs with Roebuck certainly looking to get out of this inning quickly. That one is hit to left, out of play. So we'll redo the 3-2.
The first time through the lineup for the Wolverines, 1 for 8 with that hit by pitch by Dernetti. Longo, the lone hit for the Wolverines.
That one's outside, which awards Garcia a walk. Another free trip to first base. You can see the replay on this one. Relatively low. That's his 16th of the season.
And Jonathan Kim will step in. Jonathan Kim, a sophomore now, coming off of his phenomenal freshman season, was named to the All Big Ten freshman team as well as All Big Ten third team last year, and was well on his way to solidifying himself as one of the premier players in the Big Ten Conference in just his sophomore season. That hand surgery really sent him back a little bit, missing a month and a half. Although they thought he wouldn't be back until closer to the Big Ten tournament, so this is a promising sign that he's working his way back with a couple weeks in the season left. The regular season, that is.
Garcia had a long lead off first on that one. Brody Williams, the catcher for Kent State, jumped up just in case he went, but he did not.
Jonathan Kim first appeared after his injury Friday against Long Beach State. He pinch ran and scored in the 8th inning, and Michigan batted around, so he then bunt singled later in the inning. He took over in center field in the 9th. He again pinch ran in the 8th on Saturday and took over in center field, and then he was a defensive replacement on Sunday for Joe Longo in the 8th inning, and he didn't have a plate appearance.
You see there, Kim grounded out to short in the first. 2-2, 2 outs. A timeout for Roebuck. The pitch as runner goes is swung on and missed. So the steal doesn't work out, and Roebuck gets out of the inning. Michigan, 1 hit on the game, no runs. We'll be back in the top of the fourth here on Big Ten Plus.
In that game back in 2000, Michigan scored 13 runs in the 5th inning, sending 17 batters to the plate, and they totaled 19 hits on the game. So
quite a game for the Wolverines back in the turn of this millennium.
yeah, looking for their 4th win against Kent State. Kent State looking for their 1st win against the Wolverines so far, doing a decent job.
Hayden Ebbing strikes out on 4 pitches from Will Rogers. Let's take a look at that last one. Swung right underneath it.
Yeah, Will Rogers getting up to 91 on that fastball there, so blew it by Ebbing. Rogers mostly relies on that fastball. You see that one coming in at 92.
92 to Dom Keebler. 0 for 1 on today's game. That one's hit right back to Rogers, who fields it nicely and then throws over to first for the quick 2nd out.
What a play there from Rogers, knocking it down with his glove perfectly and then just calmly picking it up and tossing it over as we see this here. It did look like the second baseman, Mac Timbrook, probably was over in the gap enough to field that one had it got by Rogers, but either way, a very nice play by the pitcher, who is usually behind the dish, playing catcher for the Wolverines.
That one from Rogers is inside to Ripken Reese, who walked in the 3rd. And that one is hit through the gap for a nice base hit. Jonathan Kim fields it and throws into 2nd, keeping Reese to just a single. Let's take a look at this one. Nice piece of hitting. Got it right between 3rd and short for nice simple base hit, but gets the runner on. There's 2 outs. Let's see if Josh Johnson can make something out of this. With that first pitch inside. Leads the team in RBIs, does Johnson. So let's see if he can add to this here.
And stolen bases. It's not often you have a guy who leads the team in both RBIs and stolen bases. This already his 3rd at-bat as Kent State continues to get players on base, but the stolen base record for Kent State in a career belongs to Emmanuel Burris, an alum of my high school back in Washington, D.C. Emmanuel Burris played for the Kent State Golden Flashes in the early 2000s, and he was inducted into the Golden Flashes Hall of Fame back in 2012.
Here's the 1-2 as Reese leads off. Swung on, hit to right. Not too much distance on it though. So Hrustich makes the easy play to end the inning. No runs, no hits for Kent State. And 1 left on base. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 4th here on Big Ten Plus.
One of the craziest games you will ever witness when Kent State played Kentucky in the opening game of the Purdue Regional. They beat Kentucky by a score of 7-6 in guess how many innings? 21 innings.
Wow.
21 innings that game went. It was 4 shy of tying Texas Boston College. This is 25-inning tournament game back in 2009 and tied for the 8th longest game in college baseball history by innings.
That is quite a game.
Yeah, and it catapulted Kent State's run all the way to the College World Series. Michigan, of course, also had that College World Series appearance more recently.
Here's Jonathan Kim back up to bat. 0 for 1 on today's game, and 2 for 1 in the count from Roebuck.
This is Hrustich, actually.
Hrustich,
Jonathan Kim was the last out of the previous inning. Michigan still struggling to get their bats moving. Only 1 hit on the day.
There's a high pop right back behind us. Now it's fouled out of play. So the count becomes full, 3-2.
Yeah, and Roebuck nearing the longest outing that he's had this year. The longest outing was 4 innings.
This one's hit out to left. Easy catch for Tim Orr. Leads to the first out. So Roebuck at least getting 3.1 on today's game.
Yeah, so that makes this the second longest outing of the season so far. His longest outing coming back in February 23rd against Louisiana Tech, where he went 4 innings of scoreless pitching, allowing 3 hits, striking out 3 and no walks.
Here's the second pitch to Colin Priest. The first one, a little inside for ball 1. The second one, a little outside for ball 2. Priest grounded out in the second. That one's in there for a strike. Evens the count. 2-1. Roebuck's 46th pitch comes in. It's a little outside. So 3-1 for Colin Priest. Colin Priest, 23 walks this season, which leads the starting lineup for the Wolverines. And he gets his 24th of the season. Awarded first base on 5 pitches.
Yeah, that raises Colin Priest's on-base percentage. He came in today at .455, which was second on the team only to Stephen Hrustich at .465. So 2 guys at 3 and 4 in the lineup that almost get on base half the time. Is very efficient.
Here's Joe Longo. Well, Colin Priest does get on base a lot. He's only stolen 1 base so far this season on 1 attempt.
Yeah, not his strong suit. So Longo will have to do some damage to drive him in here. Longo coming off of a 4 for 12 series.
See him meeting on the mound here. Catcher Brody Williams calling time. We'll talk it over with Roebuck.
Yeah, back to that run in 2012 by Kent State. You know, after that regional victory against Kentucky, they went on to beat Purdue, the host of that regional, and then beat Kentucky again in the regional final, 7-6, but this time in regulation. And then they took 2 out of 3 in Eugene against the number 5 national seed Oregon Ducks. They won 7-6 in the opening game, lost 3-2 in the second game, and won 3-2 in the third game. And that booked their place in the College World Series.
That one plunks Longo, so that moves the runner over to second. First and second with 1 out. Take a look at this one again.
Third baseman number 2, Cole.
Ooh, right in the shoulder. Does not look super comfortable, but Longo certainly shakes it off just fine. No question about it.
Longo getting hit by a pitch for the 4th time this year. And now Michigan all of a sudden threatening, as we see a slow march to the mound from the Long Beach State pitching coach.
There is a Long Beach pitcher warming in their bullpen.
Kent State, not Long
Kent
Beach State. That was last weekend.
There is a Kent State pitcher warming in the bullpen. Pitcher steps off the mound. So runners lead off once again. Here's the 1-0. That plunks Cole Caruso. So 2 hit by pitches in a row for Roebuck.
And that loads the bases for Mac Timbrook.
Let's see
It looks like home plate umpire Jake Botek is talking with the Kent State coach over there, Jeff Duncan, about something. I don't know what he could possibly be arguing about.
umpires come in to discuss. So here's Kyle Dernetti. That ball in the turf. Not dirt here in Ann Arbor.
No, not dirt. Might find some dirt over at Carroll Hutchins Stadium, just out past center field on the infield. But here, all artificial turf here at Ray Fisher Stadium. It's important for Michigan weather.
That bunt not fielded well by Jones. So everyone is safe, and another run scores for the Wolverines. We are tied at 2.
And I'm curious if that will go down as a single or an error. I believe it will be a single, because it took the pitcher, Gavin Jones, a while to get to that ball, and Dernetti just deadened it and was sprinting out of the box.
Yeah, 3 tries for Jones to get to that ball, but we will see how they score it. Then they do score that an error. So the first error for Kent State, as catcher Brock Lightkeep comes up to the plate with runners on first and second in this now tied game.
So that would go down as an unearned run. Again, both those runs will be charged to Roebuck, as that he allowed them to get on base, but it'll just be the 1 earned run so far, and any other runs that cross this inning will be unearned.
Jones quickly advances this count to 0-2 on Lightkeep, who grounded into a double play earlier in the game, but Golden Flashes only need 1 out to get out of this one. That one's outside, so makes the count 1-2.
Pardon me, I guess we missed, it was not Roebuck that started this inning, it was actually Joe Maselli, number 18, the right-handed pitcher, graduate student from Oakland, New Jersey.
That one's hit back.
He, in fact, is charged with the 2 runs, 1 earned. So Roebuck goes down with 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout.
We'll do the 1-2 over again. That one's outside. We'll see a meeting on the mound. Just the catcher, Brody Williams, going out there. Just hoping to give Jones a little bit of time, maybe talk through how to get Lightkeep out of this situation. With 2-2, 2 outs, 2 on, and a 2-2 game.
Yeah, and interesting that Jones, an Ohio native, originally committed to Alabama, went down there for a year, didn't appear in a game, and then found his way back up to the state of Ohio. Those SEC teams, powerhouses in the sport of baseball.
That one's popped up to the infield grass and fielded for the 3rd out. So the Golden Flashes only get out of it with 2 runs, but that does tie the game at 2. We are in for quite a good one here in Ann Arbor. We'll be back at the top of the 5th right after this one on Big Ten Plus.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
The Michigan head coach in his 2nd season.
Yeah, Tracy Smith with a just over 500 record, 51-49. And that's because the Wolverines went exactly 500 last year, and now with just a 2-game over 500 record this season.
On the first pitch, Peyton Ebbing flies that one out to right. An easy play for Hrustich to retire Ebbing. So quick 1 out as Will Rogers still on the mound, hoping to give the Wolverines some extra length. And that 1 pitch, 1 out certainly helped in that regard.
Yeah, Tracy Smith, a long coaching career, over 800 wins in his career, 90 MLB draft picks, including the likes of Spencer Torkelson and Kyle Schwarber. He's one of 8 head coaches to take 3 different Division I schools to the NCAA tournament, previously coaching at Arizona State, as I mentioned earlier, from 2015 to 21, and then before that at fellow Big Ten foe Indiana from 2006 to 2014. And even before that, coached at Miami, Ohio, a fellow MAC school of Kent State. So has certainly played against the Golden Flashes in his career.
Quite the resume for Tracy Smith as his pitcher, Will Rogers, pitcher/catcher, faces Dom Keebler, who's 0 for 2 on today's game.
Yeah, Tracy Smith most likely coaching against Emmanuel Burris, like I mentioned earlier, in his time playing at Kent State. So everything's connected here at Big Ten Plus.
Baseball certainly is it's a small world.
Yeah, 2 arms in the bullpen. You can see on the far left of your screen there. So this could be Will Rogers' last inning of work.
That one's grounded over to second. Easy throw to first. Will retire Keebler. So Will Rogers records another out. On very few pitches, we'll see this play once again. Nice easy play for Tim Brook over at second. Fielding and throwing to Longo at first to record 2 outs. Rogers now at 52 pitches with those 2 pitchers warming in the pen. That first one to Ripken Reese is inside. That one is popped way high. Off into the Michigan bullpen.
And looks like that's
Kurt Barr fielded that one for the Wolverines.
yeah, number
off
6,
the pen.
Kurt Barr over there.
On the hop, he did not catch it directly, but still retrieved the ball.
Yeah, Kurt Barr been a revelation for these Wolverines. Been their ace so far this year.
That one grounded to second for a bit of a long run for Tim Brook, but he got over there to make it a 1-2-3 inning for the Wolverines.
But you know, I'm thinking about that one. I don't know off the top of my head.
Joe Longo swings on the first pitch to him and flies out to right.
Yeah, so as this game enters in kind of the later innings, it's coming down to, you know, the next team to score might just come out on top. You know, we've seen both teams put up 2-run innings, and other than that, they've been held to zeros on the scoreboard. And so this bottom of the 6th, crucial for the Wolverines. You know, heading into the bottom of the order, getting something here would be big for Coach Tracy Smith, as Will Rogers is most likely done, given that we have a couple players warming up, and looks like Will Rogers is back in the bullpen cooling down.
And that hit Cole Caruso. That was well off the plate. We'll take a look at this one once again. Yeah. Hit him right in the side of his leg, but shook it off. Another Wolverine that got on base by a hit by pitch. Also bring up Timbrook with a runner on first. That one's inside, but Caruso stays put at first.
Yeah, with a little bit of a better read, I think Caruso could have gotten the jump and made it to second there, as that ball did trickle quite a ways away from the catcher Williams. But a little hesitation left Caruso still at first.
That one just hits the side of the edge of the plate on the inside corner. Makes it a 1-1 count on Timbrook. Throw back to first to keep Caruso at bay. Not leading off too much, but certainly want to keep him in check.
Yeah, we mentioned Mac Timbrook, former Golden Flash, but actually he's from Kent, Ohio itself. So his roots go way back.
Certainly a hometown kid.
Yeah, playing
those Golden
playing
Flashes.
4 seasons there, you know.
Caruso goes, but that one's fouled back, so he'll have to retreat.
Last year in his senior season, he was a all-MAC second team selection, playing 51 games, starting 49 of them, hitting .301 with 6 home runs and 13 doubles for the Golden Flashes. He was also the first Golden Flash since 2009 to score 6 runs in a game.
That one grounded to first, throws to second, and then back to first for the double play. So once again, Kent State gets one of their rare double plays against the team that fields the most. So that makes it a quick inning for the Golden Flashes, with Michigan not turning that into any action. We'll be back in just a moment on Big Ten Plus.
So Jake Botek was talking with Tracy Smith a little for a second, getting things sorted out. As you take a look at the Big Ten ERA leaders, Kurt Barr second of pitchers that qualify. So really been a stellar sophomore year for Kurt Barr, the sophomore from Canada.
The first one from Barr to Josh Johnson was upstairs for ball 1, and that one is fouled off third for strike 1.
So another switch. Will Rogers, who was previously the pitcher, is now catching for Kurt Barr. So he will remain in the lineup, replacing Gottlieb.
That one was fouled back. Must certainly be interesting for Rogers to go from pitching those balls to being on the receiving end.
Or, sorry, Lightgib.
Swung on and missed. So 4-pitch strikeout for Kurt Barr. Starts the Wolverine off on the right foot here in the top of the 7th. Retiring the Josh Johnson, who's certainly been good for Kent State. We'll take a look at that one. Swung right over the top of it. A little below his knees, but Kurt Barr was able to retire. And this first one to Tim Orr's outside for ball 1. 1 for 3 is Tim Orr on this game. That one is dribbled down the third base line. Oh, and the Wolverines wait for it, and it goes foul.
Yeah, for a while I thought that one was going to stay fair.
I agree.
You don't have that usual grass dirt field where you might have a ball hit the lip of the grass and trickle foul. As we do take a look at those ERA stats as of yesterday. Kurt Barr just behind Brett Sears from Nebraska. He's had a stellar year, 1.54 ERA.
Yeah, but Kurt Barr decently above the third and fourth place ERA leaders, so comfortably second in the conference. That one is well inside. Makes the count 2-1.
So this is Tim Orr in his first season at Kent State and in Division I. He is a transfer from Tiffin University of Division II, where he was an absolute legend. In 45 games in 2022, he batted .415 with 14 doubles, 6 triples, and 11 home runs, producing 62 RBIs. And then last year in 2023, he played for the Chillicothe Paints of the Prospect League.
That one gets flied out to right center, with Hrustich making quick work of that for the second out. So Tim Orr not able to show off his new D1 prowess in that one.
But he has certainly had a good transition to Division I baseball, you know, coming into this game with a .336 average.
The first pitch to Kyle Jackson's in there for a strike.
You see this shift put on by Tracy Smith's defense. Only Cole Caruso, the lone defender on the left side of the infield.
Yeah, infield certainly shifted well past the right side of second. But outfielders playing pretty neutral out there. If anything, little further in towards each other versus out towards the foul lines. That one was an interesting one from Kurt Barr. Registered 46 miles an hour.
Little ephus.
Yeah. 1-2 now.
Oh,
Well inside. Jackson did not flinch, though.
that
Makes
one,
it 2-2.
that one coming up at 65 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Possibly Kurt Barr experimenting a little bit here in this midweek game, non-conference.
That one's in there at 92 miles an hour, though. So he's still got his speed stuff. However, that was a little outside. So loads the count. 3-2, 2 outs. Swung on and missed. So the full count results in a strikeout for Kurt Barr, as no one's left on base and Kent State gets no other hits. Still a tie game as we go into the 7th inning stretch. Take a little stretch yourself. We'll be right back here on Big Ten Plus. First one's fouled back.
Bernardina, 6'5", 220, redshirt sophomore from Newcastle, Pennsylvania. He didn't appear in a season. He didn't appear in a game last season due to injury, so hence the redshirt sophomore. He appeared in 12 games as a freshman. Started 11 of them, tossing a total of 38 innings for the Golden Flashes.
He quickly worked a 0-2 count, but just threw one little outside, so it's 1-2 now on Dernetti. Dernetti 0 for 1 on today's game. Here's the 1-2. Swung on to center. Fielders converge. Hat falls off, but Josh Johnson makes quick work of it out in the field for a quick first out.
Good concentration from Josh Johnson as he had to come in on this, and his hat flew off. You can see, right there.
Yeah.
The wind whipping, and through the bright sun, stayed with that one to retire. Dernetti.
He's got his hat back on, though, in case anyone was concerned out there. Will Rogers grounds one through the hole. The pitcher who comes in to catch gets his one pitch and a hit. Quick work.
Yeah, so Will Rogers in his first at-bat today, as he was the pitcher and was DH'd for by Colin Priest. So now Will Rogers transitioning to catcher, gets his first at-bat and first knock of the day. And that makes Michigan lose their DH. So, in fact, Kurt Barr, the pitcher, is in the 4 hole now as Colin Priest will sit for the rest of the day. So we'll see if that 4 spot comes up in this inning. It's still 3 spots away as we are just at the top of the lineup with A.J. Garcia, who Coach Tracy Smith turns to for the pinch hitting opportunity.
Garcia hits that out to right center, but gets underneath it. Oh, throw back to first. In time to double up. Will Rogers. So, nice double play for the Golden Flashes.
Yeah, huge mistake there from Will Rogers, getting a little too antsy and just caught too far drifting as he thought this knock from Garcia was maybe going to drop in, but he was doubled off of first. A heads-up play there from the center fielder, Josh Johnson, as he gets all 3 outs of the inning. And we head to the top of the 8th on Big Ten Plus.
Chase Allen, 7.2 ERA on the season so far. So Kurt Barr's outing was indeed short, as Theo and I possibly suspected. Just going to try out some stuff, stay warm, and then pave the way for Chase Allen to come in.
Yeah, you know, even if these pitchers don't have midweek games, they're always getting their bullpen sessions in, so, you know, why not make that bullpen session an actual game? And with someone like Kurt Barr, who's been on fire recently, he does his job and gets an inning of work for the Wolverines, as opposed to out there in the bullpen.
Brody Williams works it to a 2-1 count. That one just a little inside and low, making it a 3-1 count. Brody Williams so far 1 for 3 on today's game.
Yeah, so we're in an interesting spot here as we have 4-5-6 up for Kent State. If Michigan is able to retire, as we see that walk there, if Michigan is able to retire most of these upcoming batters in the next 2 innings, they won't have to face Johnson or Orr again, but now with that walk, Johnson is most likely going to get an at-bat in the top of the 9th if Michigan is unable to get a double play here. So even if Kent State doesn't score here, the more runners they can put on base, the more likely they'll be able to get their big hitters 1, 2, and 3, Johnson, Orr, and Jackson, up in the top of the 9th to try to win the game.
That one from Hunter Klotz was certainly bunted off the first base line foul, with Cole Caruso coming in well from third, and he's still well in on the outfield grass preparing for another bunt. Open in advance Williams, and he does show bunt. The throw to second got it in time. And the throw to first goes long.
And looks like that throw hit the netting, which means that Klotz will advance to second. So even though it was not the intended outcome, the desired outcome happens for the Golden Flashes, as Michigan had a chance to turn 2 on this bunt. You know, Caruso was well in, gets to this one quickly. You can see here, makes a good throw to second. And then it's Jernetti that just launches this one, and it goes over into the netting there. So after all that, the runner does get to second base with 1 out.
Yeah. Advance the runner does Kent State, but they do have to sacrifice an out for it, so little give, little take.
Chase Allen on the mound, now pitching to Michael McNamara, been a constant presence for this Michigan squad over the last 3 years, now a senior.
The check swing from McNamara. First base umpire, James Mulick, said he did go around, so the count goes to 1-1. That one's fouled off the third base line, so it goes to 1-2.
Allen has struggled at times this year, coming in with that 7.2 ERA. A 3-2 record, though. This is his 14th appearance. 8 of those have been starts. Last year, he was also mainly a starter, getting 10 starts. As looks like we have some shuffling in the outfield for the Wolverines.
A lot of action out there.
Looks like Hrustich runs from right over to left. Garcia goes to right, and Kim goes to center.
This one's grounded to short. The throw to first is in time. Advances the runner, but advances to 2 outs as well.
Always interesting when you see the mid-inning position changes.
Yeah, mid-inning, mid-at-bat as well. There was a 1-2 count, and they decided to go for it. Certainly an interesting call.
Yeah, it looks like
looks like they're going back.
And Garcia are getting the call to swap spots again.
Yeah.
So they'll make the long jog.
Yeah, a little mitt high five on the way. They were there for 1 pitch, so quick trip to the opposite side of the outfield. As the first pitch to Peyton Ebbing. Then there for a strike. Ebbing 0 for 3 on today's game. Pitch gets away, and the runner is able to score. Will Rogers not able to get that one. We'll see if they score that a wild pitch or a passed ball, but that gives Kent State the lead.
Yeah, nightmare situation there for the Wolverines with 2 outs and just focusing on the batter at the plate. That ball squirts under the glove of Will Rogers, and the all-important winning run comes across, puts Kent State up by 1. Just not something that any catcher dreams of doing right there.
Absolutely. That pitch was scored, a wild pitch, which gives Kent State the lead here in the top of the 8th.
They scratch across 1 without getting a hit this inning.
That one also a little further from where Rogers was expecting it. Peyton Ebbing. Again, he's 0 for 3 on today's game. Here's the 2-2 with 2 outs. That one chopped at, but grounded foul. So we will restart the 2-2.
Yeah, and in fact, Kent State hasn't gotten a hit since back in the 5th inning. So these Michigan relievers, that's Rogers and then Barr for an inning, and now Allen have been silencing the bats of these Kent State Golden Flashes.
Until now, but that one's hit off the padding on the left field wall, the short wall. But Ebbing gets in there for a double. So Kent State certainly threatening that first wild pitch, scoring wild pitch, and then this double out to left field for Ebbing. Hammered out to left field.
Yeah, and Jonathan Kim now out there in left after switching with Hrustich a couple times. Didn't play that one very well. He got close to the wall, so the ball bounced strongly by him, and that allowed Ebbing to get in easily with the stand-up double. As we see Tracy Smith coming out and possibly making a change here. Looks like Allen's day will be done.
Yeah, only 4 earned runs on the season, but because of that low inning count, that certainly brings up his ERA.
He's had 3 straight scoreless starts, but that first one was Michigan State. He, in fact, got the start at that game, gave up a hit and 2 walks to load the bases with no outs, but then came out of the game, and all those 3 runners were stranded, so didn't actually get charged with any runs.
That one's drilled out to left on the warning track, but the play is made. So Navarra's really fast. 2-pitch outing, a quick one, but it limits Kent State to just 1 run on that wild pitch. 1 run, 1 hit. We'll be back here on Big Ten Plus for the bottom of the 8th. We see pinch hitter Dylan Stanton come in. So Jonathan Kim, his day is done. Kim just coming back from injury. Makes sense to limit his timeout. Stanton, the senior from Richland, Michigan.
Yeah, Stanton gotten a good amount of playing time this year. Has started 27 games, appeared in 32. Now here, his 33rd. 245 average on the year.
Quickly
1
works,
home run.
Quickly works to a 2-0 count. Now it's 3-0. He's got 9 walks on the season, does Stanton.
Not automatic.
That 3-0's in there for a strike.
Not automatic.
Stanton with a 245 average, 1 home run, 15 RBIs, 7 doubles.
Stanton just 1 game in that Long Beach State series. Played the Friday game, went 0 for 2 with an RBI. Was hit by 2 pitches in that game.
Now getting hit once that's common, but getting hit twice, that's gotta, wonder if you start to feel a little hurt after that. Something against you.
Yeah, some of these college pitchers, you know, they don't have the best best control, so it's common to see some more hit by pitches at the college level.
That one is drilled foul. Makes the count full at 3-2.
Hot deal.
As the shadows are getting longer here. It's been a fairly quick game, though. We're already in the bottom of the 8th, and it's been just over 2 hours.
Good.
Dylan Stanton works that walk for his 10th of the season.
Yeah, so this is interesting. We have Hrustich coming up here, but it is the pitcher's spot, and it looks like it'll be Mitch Voit pinch hitting after Hrustich. So Tracy Smith putting all the eggs in this basket here, and we see a pinch runner as well. That pinch runner will be Jack Council, son of Craig Council, pinch running over there at first. And looks like we will see a pitching change from Kent State. So a lot of moving parts here, Brandon.
A lot happening right now.
As we are getting into the crunch time here of this non-conference midweek game.
Both teams trying to come away from it with a win. So we will see who the new Kent State pitcher comes in. We'll be right back here on Big Ten Plus. So most likely just a 1-inning pitcher here for the Golden Flashes.
Definitely one of the trusted arms out of the bullpen for Coach Duncan. So just to get you caught up, we had a pinch runner at first for Jonathan Kim. It was Jack Council.
Stephen Hrustich up at bat now with a 1-1 count. Hrustich 1 for 3 on today's game.
Yeah, previously with that rocket of a single that went off
Yeah.
the wall at left.
That one feels hit any softer. It likely would have been a double, but the combination of the hard hit ball and the good fielding limited Hrustich out to that. Just one base.
Yeah, center fielder Johnson playing fairly deep. You know, a double most likely scores the pinch runner in counsel. And Hrustich certainly has the power to get the ball to the wall, so. Yeah.
You see Leonard there trying to keep counsel at bay over at first. That one's outside. Long lead off for counsel, but he retreats back to first. So a 3-1 count here on Hrustich.
Yeah, Hrustich, great plate discipline. You know, he is. As he takes that strike.
He certainly thought that one was a walk, or a ball, but that came in there for a strike.
Hrustich second in the Big Ten in walks entering today.
Certainly must be confident with his eye, and as he showed he was there, but home plate umpire James Wotek did not agree. But there he gets his walk. So now runners on first and second.
And guess who we have coming into the batter's box right now? Oh, and in fact, it is not Mitch Voit. It looked Mitch Voit was on deck earlier, but in fact, we will have Cooper Mullins will be pinch hitting for Wyatt Navarra in the pitching spot.
Cooper Mullins, the freshman from Eugene, Oregon. Only 12 at-bats so far this season. An on-base percentage of .474 and a batting and slugging percentage of .250.
Yeah, Cooper Mullins not going to give you much. It looks like he's coming in for a bunt specialty.
And that one goes foul.
Yeah, so Coach Tracy Smith playing the small ball here with runners on first and second, no outs. You know, it's the best time to bunt. You advance both those runners into scoring position if you're successful, and you maintain just the one out. So it's not it's not a surprise what Mullins is trying to do here.
Showing bunt once again. That one's bunted, but it stays fair. The throw to first is in time, so it advances the runners, gives Kent State an out. But now 2 runners in scoring position for the Wolverines, who are certainly threatening here in the bottom of the 8th.
And you hear some of the biggest applause of the day coming from the crowd after that sack bunt. That is a huge play there from Mullins. Does his job perfectly as he deadens this one down the third base line. No chance for the fielders to get either runners at second or third. And now we'll have Joe Longo stepping in maybe the most important at-bat for the Wolverines so far today.
Absolutely. Longo's 1 for 2 on today's game. 13 ribbies so far this season. Certainly in a good position to add to it, but he swings through that first one for a strike.
Yeah, you know, if you're Joe Longo, you had that hard hit single back in the second inning, but this time you're really trying to lift this ball deep into the outfield so that if it's caught, the Wolverines can at least tag and scratch home that tying run. But his job gets tougher here now with an 0-2 count.
Absolutely. 0-2 count and 1 out, so sac fly would certainly do it, but that last swing just resulted in a foul ball down the third base line, excuse me. So Longo got to get under something to, as Theo said, get it pretty deep into the outfield in order to let the runners tag up.
Yeah, the shortstop and third baseman are both fairly deep, so possibly a ground ball could score as well.
Swing and a miss. So that strikeout for Leonard is a big one. Very big strikeout. Joe Longo swinging right over that one. Makes it 2 outs, so the sac fly is no longer in play. So the Wolverines got to get this ball in action with a hit in order to score a run here and tie the game.
Yeah, that was a great pitch by Leonard. You know, the 0-2 count, able to get Longo widening the zone there on the off-speed pitch. But his last outing against Bowling Green was a huge 2 2/3 scoreless innings, just 1 hit allowed in relief. So a trusted arm lefty out of the bullpen here for Coach Duncan.
First pitch grounded to third. That trusty arm certainly comes in play once again. Gets Kent State out of the jam with one pitch. He'll face Ripken Reese to start off his outing, who grounds that quickly to first. The toss over to Denner completes the play. One pitch, one out.
Yeah, so this now Jacob Denner's 86th career pitching appearance. That ties John Arvai for third in program history. But he is will have a lot of work to do to get up into second, as Mac Lozier has 100 and Todd Marion has 106.
That is quite a tall order if he wants to advance in the record in the standings there.
He also comes in with 257 and a third career innings pitched. That's 10th all-time for Michigan. Trails Brandon Sinnery at 9th. He has 260, so most likely going to move up the innings pitched chart a couple spots if he continues to appear for the Wolverines this year.
Josh Johnston works his way into a 1-1 count against Denner.
Yeah, Johnson been held mostly at bay so far today. 0 for 3 with a walk and 2 strikeouts.
He's one pitch away from getting a third strikeout, as that last one was fouled off into the parking lot out past Ray Fisher. Just in between here and Ferry Field, it's a bit of a dangerous spot for some cars out there. That one, though, is hit to center field for a base hit. Drops in, so Kent State gets their 8th hit of the game. Runner on first, one out here in the top of the ninth, seeing if they can extend their lead at all.
Yeah, big play there from Josh Johnson. Continuing this Kent State inning and getting the dangerous Tim Orr up to bat.
That single certainly helping Josh Johnson keep his lead with the team in batting average, but second and OPS will also stay at bay. That one hit down the first base line and fair into right field. Runners rounding third, coming home to score. The play at the plate is not in time, so that is going to be a double for Tim Orr. An RBI double that gets Kent State another run. Now it's a 4-2 game against the Wolverines.
Yeah, beautiful piece of hitting there from Tim Orr, getting his barrel out in front of that one and driving it down the right field line. And Johnson, we've mentioned his prowess on the base paths, speeding around from first to third, or sorry, from first all the way home. And it's hard to overstate how important a 2-run lead is over a 1-run lead, especially going into the bottom of the ninth. But Kent State not done yet.
Absolutely. So there was never a doubt in the third base coach's mind to send Johnson around.
Looks like we will have a review here. Challenge coming from Coach Tracy Smith.
All right. Well, a call will stand. So Kent State keeps their lead, which is double over the Michigan scoring. Some fortitude to make the runs 4-2 in this game. This one flied high, really high, over left field, but into the Michigan bullpen. That one completely went out of our view. That stayed in the air for a long time, but makes the count 0-1.
Yeah, it hasn't been the best day for this Kent State lineup, but they've managed to get some runs across the plate in a variety of ways. And coming up with this big insurance run with the 1-2 punch of their top 2 stars.
That one's in there for a strike to make the count 1-2. Certainly has been an interesting scoring game for Kent State. The scorekeeper here at Ray Fisher must have certainly been busy today. Swing and a miss. Retires Jackson for the second out.
Yeah, off-speed pitch. Just got Jackson out in front of that one, coming in at 78 miles per hour.
That was a big out for Denner, so there's no situation where a sac fly could let the runner advance to third. So now it's got to be a well-hit ball in order to either score the runner or advance the runner to third.
You can see the outfielders playing fairly shallow now, especially Garcia and Hrustich in center and right. Trying to gun out the runner at home.
Last two pitches have been outside for 2 balls. Brody Williams went for 3 on the game with a single in the 5th. That one was also outside, but just scraped the edge of the plate for a strike. Makes the count 2-1.
Game is really slowed down here in this 8th and 9th inning as tensions rise.
That one is dribbled over to first. The play is made there, and that ends the inning. So, Kent State gets 1 run, a little fortitude to make the score 4-2, and then we will see how Michigan responds if they're able to walk it off or tie it here in the bottom of the 9th. Big at-bats coming up for the Wolverines here on Big Ten Plus.
Three series left for the Wolverines. And those final 2, I previously mentioned, Purdue and Indiana, both sitting above them or tied with them in the standings. So things could shake out in a multitude of ways for the Wolverines.
But Peyton Carrico still in there for the Golden Flashes against Mac Timbrook.
Yeah, so it'll be 7-8-9 for the Wolverines.
Timbrook, as we mentioned, certainly been a hot hitter the past month, but works to a 1-1 count. Swinging through that last one. Swung through that last one, that one as well, really forcefully. That bat flew out of his hands, almost hit the net. Kent State dugout certainly had fun with it.
And Dernetti tosses him over the rosin or sticky substance of some sort.
Little teammate action.
Increase his grip.
Yeah. He put a lot of force into that swing to throw that bat that far. Takes a couple of warm-up swings before stepping back in the box for the 1-2. That one swung on and missed as well. So quick strikeout for Carrico to retire the red-hot Timbrook and then bring up Kyle Dernetti.
Yeah, you know, we've seen 7 different pitchers for this Golden Flashes squad, but it's really been a great outing for the Kent State.
Dernetti hits that one through to left field. Rounds first, but retreats for a base hit. Wolverines got a runner on the bases here in the bottom of the 9th with 1 out. Crucial if they want to tie this game or even win it.
You know, I was about to say they've held the Wolverines to 3 hits. Now 4 hits on the day.
Yeah.
But still, a Wolverines lineup that has been pretty lethal offensively for many stretches this year. You know, winning every single Big Ten series they've played in.
Yeah, this offense certainly been held quiet. Kent State averaged 9.69 hits per game so far this season. And the Wolverines being held to 4 so far certainly lowers it. Will Rogers skies that out to center. But Dernetti gets a long lead and does not tag up. So now the Wolverines are down to their final out, runner on first. We'll see if this tying run at the plate in the form of Mitch Voit is able to turn this into some offense for the Wolverines. It was certainly a deep sac fly for, or not a sac fly, just a fly out for Will Rogers there, but not enough to either advance the runner or clear the ball past the 395 fence out in center.
Yeah, so we have Mitch Voit now pinch hitting for A.J. Garcia. Voit, again, we mentioned getting some rest, hasn't started the past 3 games, but comes in at this all-important moment for Tracy Smith. You know, the sophomore two-way phenom has struggled recently, only going 2 for 23 in his last 5 games.
Wolverines certainly hoping he can get hot again in this spot. He leads the Big Ten in doubles, so we will see if he can get one of those to let Dernetti score.
Yeah, and looks like we will have another pinch hitter should Voit reach. Junsung Park.
That one hit out to left center field. Is it far enough? Yes, it is. Tie game. Mitch Voit. Pinch hit home run to keep the Wolverines alive as the crowd goes wild. 2 outs. What a clutch hitting for Voit. The dugout is loving it.
It does not get better than that, folks. Mitch Voit, who has been struggling recently, gets a couple days of rest. Tracy Smith puts his star in the biggest moment of the game. Down 2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, and he sends it over the left field wall for the game-tying 2-run homer.
The youngster getting in on the celebrations there.
Wow.
What a hit for Voit.
That changes everything.
Absolutely.
We were 2 strikes away from packing our bags and going home, and all of a sudden we have a 4-4 game.
The struggling 2 for 23 hitter gets his 2-run game-tying home run. That's baseball, Theo.
Things can change in an instant, or should I say a flash.
Absolutely.
So this is the pinch hitter, Junsung Park, freshman from South Korea.
Quickly gets to an 0-2 count. We'll see if he's able to walk it off. If not, game will certainly go on. Now a 1-2.
Junsung Park has seen some limited action so far. Did have 2 hits in a game against Western Michigan on April 9th.
The 1-2. Swung on, but foul down their first base line.
Yeah, so comes in 3 for 13 on the year. But one of those 3 hits a home run, and another one of those 3 hits a double, so.
Certainly could result in some action for the Wolverines here.
Yeah.
The pitch is high and outside. Makes the count 2-2 with 2 outs.
He did appear in the Long Beach State game on Friday, went 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
That one outside as well. Makes the count full at 3-2. Wolverines tie the game. They might get another base runner here.
Yeah, and you have the powerful Hrustich on deck. Oh, looks.
Oh. All right, the check swing. He did not go around. So now runner on first for the red-hot Stephen Hrustich.
And you had all 9 golden flashes starting to move towards the dugout there. But home plate umpire Jake Botek says no, that one was outside, and no, Junsung Park did not go around. So now Hrustich with a chance to win the game. Hrustich coming in with 10 home runs on the year. That's one shy of his career high set back in his sophomore season over at Northwestern.
The count now 2-0 on Hrustich. This is a big spot for the Wolverines. The pitching spot, Jacob Denner in the lineup, is up, but we will see if it gets to it, whether they'll pinch hit, which they likely will.
Yeah, we're just seeing a Michigan player come out to the on-deck circle. Looks like that's Bradley Navarro.
The count now 2-1. That one fouled back.
Some huge hacks from Hrustich. You know he has one thing on his mind, and that's winning the game for the Wolverines.
He certainly wants to hit that ball over the wall. Wherever it goes, he'd be happy.
You can see how deep the center fielder Johnson is playing. No doubles.
That one is hit to right, just shallow. Oh, and the diving catch does not get made. Runners hold up at third, though. As Hrustich goes to second, the Wolverines are in shape for some action here. Runners on second and third. They are in a threatening position to win this game. We'll take a look at this hit from Hrustich.
Yeah, so it was Ripken Reese, the second baseman, making the diving attempt at this kind of weird ball that was falling in the Bermuda Triangle over there down the right field line. He got his glove on it, but was unable to come up with it cleanly on the full stretch dive, and good hustle there from Hrustich to get into second. But the rest of the Flash's players quickly recovered there to keep Park at third and prevent the possible walk-off.
The umpires converge now. We'll see what this was about, and they are going to review again. Confirms runners to second and third, so the Wolverines are still set up in a great spot here in the bottom of the ninth. 2 runners in scoring position, but the only one that matters is the one that's 90 feet to home plate. They are 90 feet away from a walk-off win for Bradley Navarro.
Yeah, so I'm curious if they'll walk Navarro here to get the force play at any base. But as of now, it looks like Navarro will step in.
Yeah, the intentional walk would not harm Kent State at all there, but they are letting Navarro hit. Navarro 196 on the year.
Yeah, possibly trying to attack Navarro rather than Longo, who sits with a 292 average and has that single on the day in the on-deck circle. You know, the freshman Navarro, you know, cold coming in just off the bench, pinch hitting. That might be the reason why they're attacking him here.
That check swing on the inside ball, first place umpire James Mulick did say he went around. So that one counts as a strike. The count is now 1-1. We've said it before, but big spot for the pinch hitter Navarro as he swings through that one to make it 1-2. The entire Wolverine dugout is on the step. They are waiting to celebrate with the winning run 90 feet away. But swing and a miss. The big strikeout for Carrico leads us to the 10th. You know what that means. It's time for free baseball. 4-4 game going into the 10th here on Big Ten Plus.
Kalinsky has come in to play right field, replacing Junsung Park.
As Kalinsky gets some immediate action, although that will be Hrustich in center.
Yeah,
getting that for a quick out.
As you said, Hrustich moves to center field.
Take a look at that one again. Well hit, but not far enough. Hrustich fields that easily. 1 pitch, 1 out. So up now is Michael McNamara.
So the only players in their places that they started for are Caruso at third, Dernetti at short, and Timbrook at second for the Wolverines. Other than that, everyone in different spots than they've started.
Good.
Quickly works to an 0-2 count.
McNamara
Now, Brando.
0 for 3 on the day. He is one of 2 starters for the Flashes to not record a hit, along with Kibler.
Here's the 0-2. Just a bit outside, makes the count 1-2. Man, certainly hoping to keep this Kent State offense at bay. With 9 hits so far, he's looking to keep it at 9. That one outside as well makes the count 2-2.
Yeah, Mann's last appearance was 10 days ago against Ohio State. He went 2/3 of an inning, allowed 2 hits, but no runs.
Oh! That one hit McNamara on the head with his helmet flying off. That's a scary situation for McNamara. Luckily, it did hit his helmet pretty square, but we'll take a look at this. Wow. Yeah, it hit his helmet right in the back, so it knocked it off, but Kent State's now got a runner on first.
Yeah, and that's something that Brandon Mann has struggled with in his career here at Michigan. That's his 15th walk of the season to go along with just 6 strikeouts. Last year, he had 12 walks and 7 strikeouts, so it's been something that he's been trying to work on, his control.
Yeah, and that control certainly resulted in that hit by pitch. He was at 2 strikes, so that could have been a strikeout, but instead we got a runner on first. But, I think if you're hit in the head, you should get awarded, going to first base. Scary situation. There are 2 Michigan pitchers warming in the pen. So that one gets away. So McNamara advances to second. Again, we'll see if they score that one a wild pitch or just a passed ball.
Yeah, this is an interesting time because Michigan has used some of their most trusted arms out of the bullpen already in, Kurt Barr, obviously, but also Jacob Denner and Chase Allen.
That one chopped, and that is called fair. So the play at first is made. Runner stays put at second. So that's a good outcome for the Wolverines.
Nice play by Cole Caruso as the runner at second, that was McNamara. It looks like he's gesturing to his third base coach to, at least let him know, because he maybe could have advanced to third if he read that ball correctly. But a nice play from Caruso retires the second of the inning.
Absolutely, and that ball was very close to going foul, but it was called fair. Looks like there's another shift out in the outfield. Hrustich goes over to right, and Kalinsky goes to center.
Yeah, we mentioned Kalinsky. That's Trevor Kalinsky, senior from Zeeland, Michigan. Listed as an infielder, but playing outfield here for the Wolverines.
Outfield shifted a little right. Second baseman playing deep. That one in there for a strike. With the runner on scoring position, Brandon Mann and the Wolverines as a whole really want to keep this Kent State offense at bay so they have a better chance to come back and win it in the bottom of the 10th.
So the freshman catcher Kibler, 0 for 4 on the day.
That one, bit wild, which allows the runner to advance to third. So McNamara, after advancing to second on one wild pitch, advances to third on another. So Kent State has got a runner 90 feet from home. Wolverines looking to turn this 1-1 count with 2 outs and the strikeout or some other out to keep that runner over at third, not let him score. That one was well outside as well, so the count's now 2-1. So 2 wild pitches from Brandon Mann.
Mentioned Kibler. Hitless on the day.
That one a bit low, but Rogers able to block it. Count now 3-1. The shadows are certainly growing long here at Ray Fisher Stadium.
Yeah, we're getting ever closer to sunset.
That one inside, but which lets the batter, go to first. So runners on the corners. But Will Rogers was able to keep it at bay to keep the runner over at third as well.
Yeah, what a stop from Will Rogers, possibly game-saving there. As, you know, we have that runner just 90 feet away at third base with the backstop pretty far away, but has been hitless since then.
Runner goes to second. Gets there easily. No throw from the catcher.
Yeah, I'm sure Tracy Smith just telling Brandon Mann focus on this batter, excuse me. You know, he's got 2 outs. Doesn't have to worry about anything else happening. Just get this batter out and he'll be out of the inning.
That one inside, and the frame job by Rogers does not succeed. So the count moves to 2-0. So now 2 runners in scoring position for the Golden Flashes. That one is a bit low and inside. Makes the count 3-0. So 1 pitch away from loading the bases. The Wolverines were in this position last inning with a runner 90 feet from home. That did not result in anything, as Kent State loads the bases.
Yeah, not the worst thing in the world for the Wolverines. Now they get the force out at any base. However, it does put Josh Johnson back up for his 6th at-bat of the day.
Quite a game for him. It's 1 for 4 on the game.
6th plate appearance, I should say.
But again, he is quite a good hitter. 46 RBIs so far on the season. This is certainly an opportunity for him to increase that. That one's in there for a strike.
Same pitch last at bat.
Yeah, Johnson wisely being patient, waiting to take a strike there as Mann has struggled with his command. And he knows that if he takes a walk here, that's an RBI, and it puts Kent State up.
That one fouled back. Big shot, but a little late, so fouls it back over the seats on the first base line here. You can see the sun is really in Johnson's eyes. Luckily, his helmet is able to block some of it, but these shadows and the sun coming from right field are certainly a factor here. That one's fouled well into the parking lot. Looks like it avoided all the cars, but that one went past 2 separate rows of parking. Luckily, I walked here today, so my car's safe.
Same here.
That one's upstairs, so the count's 2-2, 2 outs. Bases loaded. Due up for the Wolverines are Joe Longo, Cole Caruso, and Mac Timbrook. Oh, that one. Bit of a divisive call there by home plate umpire Jake Botek, but Wolverines not happy about it, but the Golden Flashes certainly are.
Yeah, for what it's worth, runners will get a head start here now with 3-2 and 2 outs.
The pitch is hit straight to first baseman Mitch Voit. The guy who gets the game-tying homer also helps get out of the jam.
Right spot, right time there for Mitch Voit as the Wolverines celebrate like they won the game after getting out of that jam. They'll have a chance to win it here in the bottom of the 10th.
We will see how they do. Big at-bats coming up for the Wolverines. Tie game going into the bottom of the 10th. Coming up next on Big Ten Plus. Longo 1 for 3 so far in today's game.
So Carrico in for his second full inning of work. Retired, got 1 out in the 8th inning, then got 3 outs in the 9th, and now still working in the 10th.
First pitch was a strike, and the second pitch is flied out to center field. Nice and easy play for the Golden Flashes. 1 out there. So Joe Longo gets retired quickly, but brings up Cole Caruso. It's been 0 for 2 on today's game, but good hitter for the Wolverines other than that.
Yeah, hit by 2 pitches in the 4th and the 6th. Not his ideal way if you asked him how he'd get on base.
And that one, first pitch grounded to short. Easy throw to first in time. Very fast. 3 pitches, 2 outs for Carrico here. Not ideal for the Wolverines, but brings up Mac Timbrook.
Yeah, what a different pace here, this bottom of the 10th and the top of the 10th. The top of the 10th felt like it lasted years with how long it took Brandon Mann to get through that inning. He did so unscathed, but now the Wolverines already with 2 outs here.
Timbrook, the former Golden Flash, in a big spot against his former team.
Yeah, Timbrook been hitless today. Had that sac fly in the 4th.
Now 0-2 quickly. Gets to an 0-2 count. 2 out, so certainly hoping he can change the pace of this at-bat. That one called outside, so he stays alive for 1-2. That one fouled off. Looks like it may have hit Timbrook on the foot. He winced a little bit, but he's doing all right. Timbrook only 2 home runs so far in the season. 14 doubles, though, with 8 in the past month. So certainly in a position to get a runner in scoring position. Wow. The 3rd time he has been hit by a pitch in this game. What a day for Mac Timbrook. Let's take a look at this one again. Yeah, right in the arm. Right in the tricep area. Bit unfortunate for Timbrook. Really getting beat up today, but gets the Wolverines a runner on first.
If you get on base, you get on base.
Yeah.
And Timbrook has done that 3 out of 5 times today, all via the hit by pitch. So that puts him up to 12 times getting hit by a pitch this year. That would have tied him with Dernetti, but Dernetti also got hit by a pitch back in the 3rd inning. So he is up to 13 on the year to lead the team. And he is currently in the batter's box.
Throw back to first, keep Timbrook at bay. Timbrook, it's really an example of saying taking one for the team, you know?
Yeah, and a force on the base paths, too. 8 for 10 on steals this year. So with 2 outs, I wouldn't be surprised if they put him in motion, but
no chance there. That one's grounded straight to short. So a quick inning for the Golden Flashes brings us to the top of the 11th.
Scott Strickland was the head coach for Kent State then. After that season, it was Michigan that was interested in hiring Strickland to replace head coach Rich Maloney. But Strickland elected to stay at Kent State, and that led Michigan to hiring Eric Bakich instead. We know where that ended up. Michigan having that run to the College World Series.
That one is hit out to left center. Oh, but a good play out there.
Good, Joe.
Keeps the Golden Flashes at bay.
Yeah, that's Joe Longo who got the start at first base today.
Yeah.
With all the changes that Tracy Smith has had to put through this Wolverine lineup, Longo out there in left.
Look at that tumbling play. Hat goes flying. But a good way to get one out for Longo. The pitch to Jackson's outside for a ball. Another swing and a miss. Jackson has 2 strikeouts in the day. 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 9th. But he also got a single in the 3rd. That one's in there for a strike.
Yeah,
this count 1 and 2.
This we're getting through the 6th time through the order for the Kent State lineup.
The 1-2. Swung on and hit hard to right. But Kalinsky fields it easily to get the 2nd out. Give the Wolverines a bit of a better chance to come back.
Yeah, Brandon Mann, a little bit of Carico's working quickly here in the top of the 11th.
Absolutely. Brandon Mann really improving his control from the previous inning with 2 wild pitches, but he's now made quick work of this portion of the Golden Flashes lineup. That's now the catcher, Brody Williams, comes to hit for the Golden Flashes. He has a single in the 5th. That one dribbled to first, and a quick 1-2-3 inning for Brandon Mann. A great improvement from the top of the 10th. Gives the Wolverines an easy shot. Just 1 run to win the game.
Yeah, Mitch Voit makes this play at first. Mitch Voit, he's due up 2nd. We'll see if he can win it for the Wolverines just like he did in the 9th by tying it.
It's a good one. Stay tuned. We'll be back on Big Ten Plus. Rogers 1 for 2 on the day.
And then it'll be Hrustich after that if they can get a runner on board. So this could be one of the best chances the Wolverines will have.
Absolutely. 2 plate appearances for Will Rogers. He's 1 for 2. With a single in the 7th. And then a fly out to center in the 9th.
Yeah, an interesting day for Will Rogers, you know, starting on the bench, but then coming in relief as a pitcher, and then replacing Brock Lightgeb behind the dish.
Swings through that one to make the count 1 and 2.
Good.
1-2's inside. Make it a 2-2 count.
Sun continues to get lower in the sky.
Another one, Raj.
We're just over 70 minutes, exactly 70 minutes away from sunset here in Ann Arbor.
As Rogers hits that to short center. But easy work for Josh Johnson.
And his hat comes off again out there in center field.
He's been losing his hat a lot today. A lot of hats going flying today. With the wind certainly makes that a factor. You can see that easy fly out there. Gives the Golden Flashes 1 out. It's turning into a beautiful evening here in Ann Arbor. 65 degrees. Just a light breeze with Mitch Voit at the plate. And that one is hit to right. But caught just barely on the warning track was Keebler, and it was right in the sun, so it was a bit hard to see, but that did not go out like his last one. Barely.
Everyone in the stadium holding their breath as they thought Mitch Voit might have just done it again. But again, we mentioned that wind coming in from right. You know, that one with just a little bit of wind difference, that might have a different story there, as that one got real close to the wall, but a nice play by Keebler.
Now 0-1 and 2 outs on Trevor Kalinsky.
On, Trev.
He was not having at bat today. Came in as a defensive replacement.
Yeah, Kalinsky coming in with a 143 average
On, Trev.
in very limited time. If he can get on base, though, that sends up Hrustich.
And it looks like he will. With a grounder through the hole, goes out to center field as Josh Johnson's hat flies off again. But Kalinsky gets on first for Stephen Hrustich in a good spot to get the Wolverines that walk-off win.
There's a big hit there from Kalinsky. Only his second hit of the year.
Good.
Was 1 for 7 coming into this one. And now we have the power hitter Hrustich, who's 2 for 4 on the day. Outfield's playing deep, no doubles.
Bit of a timeout there, but Hrustich gets back in the box for the 0-1. Big spot for him. That one's outside to make the count 1-1.
On, Rusty.
With the pitcher spot coming up next in the lineup, looks like Ian Kennedy will pinch hit. It's in the on-deck circle. That one's inside, makes the count 2-1. Again, Stephen Hrustich with that single in the 5th.
And a double in the 9th.
On, Steve.
He's gotten on base 3 times today. In fact, his last 3.
That one is hammered to left field, and that one is gotta walk-off home run for Stephen Hrustich to tie his career season high with 11, and he walks it off with a 2-run blast to give the Wolverines the win. What a hit for Stephen Hrustich.
And what a game for the Wolverines. Their 2 best hitters all season. Mitch Voit coming in the bottom of the 9th as a pinch hitter and tying it with a 2-run homer. And then Hrustich in the bottom of the 11th, hitting it over the tall wall in left field. The shirt is off for Hrustich, and the Wolverines win this one 6-4.